What's up, world? My name is Zavian Dre, and this is my podcast, Dopenly Honest, breaking the chains of addiction. What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Dopenly Honest. Now, today I get to interview two very good friends of mine that have been instrumental in my recovery. Kody and Whitney Dickenson are a married couple that have multiple years of sobriety, and I know their insight and experience will help many listeners that are seeking a better way of life. So let's not waste no more time. Let's get straight to it. Just real quick before we get started, I got a quick story to tell about my good friends that we have today.
Shit.
I'm
Here it
nervous.
So, through this journey in addiction, we got ups and we got downs, a lot of highs and lows, right? So, during my last relapse, when they always talk about in recovery how you just got to be there for one another, you know what I'm saying? So, my friends, they reached out to me when I relapsed, man, and when you going through that time to where you've been working a program and you've been doing good and you've been clean and stuff like that, and then you hit the fuck it button and you relapse, that can take you to a bottom that's a very scary place to be. So you guys was there for me during that time. I just want y'all to know that means a lot to me. Y'all welcome me into y'all's home. Y'all got me some Zaxby's and shit. That shit was cold by the time I ate it.
Yeah, and you still ain't paid us back for it.
I got you. I'm gonna cash app you after the interview.
But you showed up, and that's what matters.
Yeah,
It would have been hot if you got there on time.
yeah. I'm on black people time. 90% of the time. So, yeah, man, that just meant a lot to me, man. And even before that, I considered you guys friends, but that really showed me y'all's commitment to this thing. I was thinking about who I wanted to interview next, and you guys popped up immediately because I don't think there's a whole lot of people that's like, as far as actually being a couple and being in recovery together. I know for me personally, I was in relationships to where in addiction with somebody, getting high together, but I've never been in a relationship to where in recovery with somebody. So I want to commend y'all on that, you know what I mean? And y'all sticking with this thing and doing this deal together. Yeah, man, that was just my quick little story. Y'all was there for me at a time where I was at one of my lowest spots in life the last time I relapsed. So if y'all just want to give the people, just start off by, telling us where you from, who are you, your sobriety date and things of that nature, man. Kody, if you want to lead us off.
Hey, Kody.
What's up, Kody? What's up, buddy?
I'm from Richmond, Kentucky. Born 1992, November the 25th, the day of our Lord. It was storming.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of thunder coming on, just to let y'all know what. No, I'm playing.
You play too much.
You used to like it. I come from Richmond, right? Athlete growing up, hell of a student, like the golden child, you know what I mean? I was the first grandson, the first nephew, all that for my family's generation of where I was. And coming up, it was school was always easy, sports was always easy. I'm bigger, I'm stronger, I'm faster. Like when I was on that field or when I was playing that ball, it was easy for me to put that mask on. I could just be him, and that's what I was. No matter what I did off of it, it didn't matter because it always came back to me being an athlete, right? And I started partying and stuff on the weekends, chasing the dope, chasing the skirts while I'm playing ball, whatever. And it was fun, but it got to the point that it wasn't just on the weekends no more. And this is still in high school. I fancied myself a dope dealer for real, like a real deal, like Gucci and T.I. talk I thought I was going to be at. But every time I cop, dude, I'm telling you, every time I cop, like let's say I start out with the O, I would re-up on a half and a quarter.
Yeah.
And then with that half and a quarter, I would come back and re-up on the half. And by the end of the time, by the time I'm running out because I'm smoking, I'm my own best customer. Monkeys can't sell bananas.
I know that's right.
I hadn't heard that yet. And it got to the point, like my goal, after I realized I couldn't be a real deal dope dealer for real because I liked the shit too much, my goal was to be the guy, right? Like if Whitney hit you up and said she's trying to cop, I wanted you to hit me because you didn't have a plug, but you knew somebody that could get it. I wanted to be a guy that could get it. Because I'm pinching. I'm Mr. Krabs. I got claws. I'm going to pinch off of you. And that's how I went by.
Not Mr.
That's
Krabs.
how I went by. And it escalated, the disease, progressive, incurable, and fatal. It started out with the green stuff that you break down, roll, whatever. And it progressed into the pills. I took a brick one day at school and the girls thought I was funny, so I had to find some more bricks. You know what I'm saying? I was taking the Xanax and the girls thought that was hilarious. And if you can make a girl laugh, that's better than any feeling the dope's gonna give you. When a cute girl's laughing at your jokes and they hitting, bro, you can't beat that.
Yeah.
You can't beat that. So, and then that progressed into the powder, and it just progressed up to the point that by the end of my road, I had a needle in my arm with no money in my pocket. I'm walking around with holes in my shoes. Ain't bought no clothes for myself in days or in months, years. I'm still wearing, dude, I was 27 wearing my high school football hoodie. If it's cold as fuck outside and I got enough money for a bag of dope or a hoodie, the hoodie gonna have to wait. I can cop a bag of fucking ice and I ain't gotta worry about getting cold, dude. That's one thing you have to worry about when you on that shit. Fucking it. I'll be outside with my shirt off, steam coming off of me. I don't know if y'all got high like I got high.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man.
We might know what you're talking about.
It's not a meeting, so I don't have to like stray away from saying dope because you could trigger somebody. Like we could, but so I joined the Army, right? My grandmother passes away. I joined the Army trying to make my grandfather proud because my grandparents raised me. My parents got divorced when I was young. My dad was an over-the-road truck driver. And, dude, my mom would show up to court fucked up. When they was getting divorced, if she came to court at all, she would come in there plastered. So I'm one of the few divorce cases, or one of the few kids whose dad got custody. But he was an over-the-road truck driver, so I moved in with my grandparents. They raised me. So, like, when people are talking about mom, dad this, mom, dad, I don't think about mom and dad. I look at my dad like an uncle, and I look at my mom like a distant aunt that I saw every now and then. So when my grandmother passed away, I was able to stay clean for a week or two and get in the Army because they thought it was a good idea to employ my dope fiend ass. I get in there and I end up getting kicked out for selling dope on the base, and I get kicked out, and my grandfather's passing away as I'm coming home. So I got nowhere to go. And I hit my uncle up, lied to him about why I got kicked out. He let me move in with him in Shelbyville, and I'm down here for 2 or 3 months, and I end up doing the same thing. That I picked up right where I left off. And I thought moving to Shelbyville would get me off the dope. But what I didn't understand is they was dope in Shelbyville too. And what I also didn't understand with the joining the Army and with the moving to Shelbyville, trying to get away from it, I took me with me everywhere I went.
Yeah.
Everywhere I went, I beat me there, and I meet me there. And if you think I can't find some dope, drop me off, I'll find it. It might not be the dope I want. It might not be the dope you expected. But if you drop me off anywhere, you can drop me off in Death Valley out in where is that? Nevada, California?
Somewhere in the
When
West.
you come back next day, I'm be high.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the only point I'm trying to make. And
Yeah, we know who to look for.
yeah, motherfuckers that look like me.
Spot them out quick.
Yeah,
Spot 'em
absolutely.
out.
But just a little perspective, a little background on it. The house I moved into, my uncle works for the government, the Census Bureau. Like polo, clean cut, all that. And his wife, my aunt, is a 3rd grade school teacher. On my birthday, I went back to Richmond, copped a big bag, came home, and overdosed. So you could imagine the government worker and the 3rd grade school teacher weren't too fucking happy about that in their basement, right? So the next day, we wake up for Thanksgiving. The last time I OD'd was the night before Thanksgiving, and the whole family was coming into the house. And my family, it ain't like, hey, let's keep this on the down low. No, you fuck up, everybody gonna know.
Everybody.
So I went to
yeah.
Thanksgiving, everybody know I died yesterday in the basement. Wouldn't nobody talk to me. The turkey sucked. It was cold. It might as well be. I couldn't eat. The deal was, if you want to stay here, you got to start going to meetings. So I started going to meetings, but I was not ready. And I relapsed a few times while I was over, and eventually it ended like, you got to get out of here. I had enough money. I got me an apartment, and I moved out thinking it was going to be fly. It was going to be awesome. Within 2 weeks of being in that apartment, I was wide open, back on the rails again. Just tweaking and geeking. I found me a plug out in Henry County, and when I tell you that, you know what kind of dope I was
Henry
doing.
County. Yeah.
You know what kind of dope I was doing when I tell you I got a redneck lives on a trailer up on a hill in Henry County, and you ain't never tweaked till you tweaked out in the woods. You ever tweaked out in the woods with a strobe light going off the whole time?
No,
don't
sir,
do
I
it.
have not.
Fuck
You don't want
that.
to.
No.
You don't want to. That's a horror story.
No, sir.
But as I said, I had already found the meetings. The seed had been planted. I knew where to go when I was going to be ready. But my last trip, right, my last relapse, I was out for about 9 days, and I had been up for 9 days. I finally get home. I'm finally about to get some rest. I lay down on the couch. I'm asleep for 10 minutes. The lady to my left, the one y'all going to hear talk in a minute, Miss Whitney C at the time. Now she's D. I gave her the D.
Okay.
I gave her the
Shut
D,
the fuck
babe.
up.
Okay.
My last name's Dickenson. We got married. I'm not being vulgar.
Yeah.
Calm down.
Yeah.
But her and another addict who's not here, so I won't say her name, they beat the hell out of my door. I thought I was going to prison.
God
The way
bless.
they was banging on my door, I thought it was the police. But it was two addicts coming to check on me, and nobody had ever loved me like that before. Nobody with a different last name had ever went that far out of their way to come check on me. And I thought the whole time the only person I was hurting was myself. But when I saw the look on these two other recovering addicts' faces, when they saw the state of despair that I was in when they came to check on me, I knew there was hope. I knew there was hope for a motherfucker like me, right? And that's the feeling that I turn back to when I'm in a meeting and I see a newcomer come in. That's what I try to tap back into, because we only keep what we have by giving it away.
Give it away, man.
I don't care where you was at when you got here. I don't care how far you've come. When somebody new comes in that door, I have a responsibility. I have a duty, an obligation to give them what I got. Because as I'm sharing my shit with them and it's helping them, it's also reminding me of what I went through.
And where I don't want to go back to.
Exactly. So yeah, that's just a small story. I'll go ahead and give you this little tidbit, because I do every time we get to talking about our relationship, the way we met. I came into a meeting. The first time I met Whitney, I come into the meeting and she had just had all of her teeth pulled. She had
I sure did.
My name Whitney. I'm an addict. But and she shared about how her papa was telling her she needed to quit smoking. My papa says, I need to quit smoking, but I quit shooting dope, so he's just gonna have to get over it. And here we are 7 years later, she's still smoking cigarettes.
But we didn't talk about the stale pizza that you offered me and that other addict.
It's not your turn. Yeah, I bought some pizza before I went out on that 9-day bender.
Oh, wow.
And it was sitting in the floor for 9 days. I wasn't even at the house. They get there. It was harder than this table right here. And I offered them some because I'm a gracious host.
He said, "You want some pizza?" I was like, "No, I'm so good on that."
Pass on that, yeah.
But that's what it took. That was my rock bottom. That's where I came from. That's what I went through. That's where I went to, and that's what got me started in recovery. And before I go too deep on mine, I think I need to step to the side and let Whitney take over. But what I do want to say before I hand it off, though, with the introduction you was giving us, you ever seen, like, we was just playing with the dogs out back. You ever seen a dog when you throw a T-bone steak in the yard, how aggressive they are and they on it and yada yada? When I first got clean, it wasn't nothing but old black dudes sharing about how they smoked crack back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it worked. I stayed clean. I'm not bitching. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for everybody and their story. But when another young guy came in the rooms, I was like that dog chasing that steak. Like, bro, somebody like me's here.
Yeah.
Somebody's like me here. And I shared about it one day when you wasn't at the meeting. And what they told me was, keep coming back. Or before you even started coming around, I was sharing about how there ain't nobody my age, nobody that act like me, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They said, keep coming back. So the next young guy that comes in here has somebody.
Yeah, I remember that.
So I'm grateful to hear you share it, because I got to be at somebody for somebody.
That was deep, man, and I appreciate that. And I think this is a good time in the interview to go ahead and let Miss Whitney share her story a little bit.
All right. Okay. My name is Whitney, and I'm an addict.
Hey, Whitney.
Hey, Whitney.
My clean date is 7/19/18, and I'm truly grateful for that day. You know, like, it's one that I will hopefully never forget and never lose. You know, talking about like how I was raised up and whatever. You know, like, I was raised in a household where like addiction and the lifestyle was like normal, right? Like, my mom's an addict. My sister was in addiction with me, you know, like, we got all these things. So like, she was my mom at the time, you know, because like, you just think your mom's crazy, right? Like, I didn't understand the disease aspect of it or know anything about that, because, you know, she was selling it, she was smoking it, she was always like over obsessively cleaning the house and looking out the windows. And I'm like, bitch, what are you doing? And, you know, but like, growing up, you know, like, it was the men, it was in and out like a revolving door, you know. And then like, I started using when I was 12. You know, I got in with you know, like, I'd steal my mom's shit. And, you know, she would be like, where'd my stuff go? Where'd my stuff go? I'd be like, girl, I don't know. I have no idea. But, you know, like, I liked how it made me feel, right? Like, I didn't know about the progressiveness or anything like that. So, you know, like, I just kept doing what made me feel good, because like, I always felt different, you know, like, in my family as well. Like, I'm the first granddaughter, the first daughter, you know, like, I couldn't do no wrong, you know, and I kind of held on to that a little bit, you know. But as I got older and like in high school, because like, the progressiveness is there when I look back at it, but like, in high school, I got to hanging out with the wrong crowd. Like, my sophomore year, I started skipping school all the time, and I started to going hanging out with these different people, these upperclassmen who I thought were just so cool, you know, because like I hadn't really found my tribe or like my people yet, you know, like I still felt apart from. So I'm like, oh, if I do this shit, then maybe they'll like me. Or if I do this shit, maybe they'll think I'm cool, you know, but not knowing like I am causing my own problems. But, you know, at that point in time, like you don't think about that shit, you know, like you're young and dumb or I'll keep it on me. I was young and dumb. I ended up dropping out my senior year and, I got pregnant. There was this guy, I was like hanging out with the wrong crowd still. And for some reason, like I always went out of county to meet these guys, right? Like I never dated I've dated one person from where I'm from in Shelbyville. I met this guy. It was supposed to be just a party and I was going to hang out with this other guy, but he brought his cousin. And so I hung out with his cousin all night instead of him. And I ended up having like a one night stand and getting pregnant at 18. I was like, oh, I'm going to be like the best mom. I'm going to make this family work and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. And I'm still using and smoking the whole time during my pregnancy because like I didn't have an example, right? Like I just didn't, you know, like my grandparents were there and I lived with them till I was 7, but like they loved me regardless, right? So it was like when I turned 18 and I got pregnant, I tried, you know, to do the family thing and like my baby daddy, he cheated on me with this other girl and got her pregnant too when I was 6 months pregnant.
Oh, wow.
Motherfucker.
And I was like, what the fuck? So just, you know, I was stoned. Okay. And I'm just going to throw this in here. I don't know if it's relevant, but like I literally threw my phone and hit him in the back of the head. I was like, get the fuck out of my house. You know, I'm living in a government apartment at this point over in Indian Ridge. And I'm just like, I can't be acting like that, but I did. You know, and so I had my baby, I had my son in November, and, you know, I picked right back up where I left off, you know, like I just didn't stop, you know, because they're like, oh, you want to breastfeed? You want to do this? Hell no, I just shared my body with this little motherfucker for 9 months. Like, I am done sharing my body. Like, I want to go get high. You know, that was the first thing that I thought about. And, you know, like I picked up right where I left off and we tried to do this family thing. And at the time, my baby daddy, he was working for some union. I don't even remember what kind of union. He worked for some union. So he'd be gone all day and I'd stay home with my son. And then when he come home, I'm out the door. You know, and at this point, I'd done picked up, you know, starting doing Xanaxes and I'm doing all this crazy shit, you know, the shit you don't remember things off of. And,
yeah.
Let me get one of them forget-me-nots.
Yeah, that thing. You know, we ended up splitting up and a couple years later, like I meet this other guy, right? I got pregnant with another baby at 22 and I had my daughter at that point. Like I already moved to a different like government apartment in Lynn Acres. I don't know if I know you probably know about Lynn Acres, but I moved over there and that's where like my addiction kind of really, like I got introduced to things other than just like weed. Like even before I got pregnant, I feel like this is relevant to say, like any drug I ever done first was with my mother. You know, like she was more my friend than my mother. So it's like she was one of those where like, I'd rather you do it in the house where I know you're okay than go and do it at your friend's house and something happened and I'm not there. So like, and part of me feels like now today, like she just wanted to do some of the shit that I had.
Yeah,
but
she was pinching like me, dog.
She sure was. But when I lived in Lynn Acres and after I had my daughter, like I got hanging out with like some friends from high school that I hadn't seen in a while. You know, like they had kids and they was living over there too. They were doing heroin. And I would just watch them, right? Like, you know, I already done all these other drugs. I'm like, that's the one thing like I haven't done. You know, so I had a free night one night with one of my friends and we went to Frankfurt and she had this sugar daddy that would buy her like whatever she wanted. And that was the first night that I ever tried heroin and a needle at the same time.
So the first time you did heroin, you shot it?
Yeah, the first time I did heroin, I shot it.
Wow.
And when I tell you, I don't know why I ever did that shit again because like I literally hugged the toilet all night because it was cold and my body was so hot. And like I couldn't even get up. But as soon as I could get up and I wasn't sick to my stomach, I was like, you know what, let's do that again. Like the insanity, like let's do it again because like I liked how it felt, you know? And then eventually, you know, like I tried to sneak around and do it, you know, like on the weekends when I didn't have my kids or, you know, then it turned into like every other day and then it turned into every day. And then eventually, you know, like it wasn't just the H that got me, it was the fucking needle that got me. That's a whole different type of love in itself for me, you know, like I'm not going to go about war stories, but it wasn't just the drugs for me at that point in time, you know? And I can remember, as the years have progressed, like I caught my first charge when I was 25. And then when I got my first felony, I was in and out of jail like a revolving door. Like it didn't stop.
It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah, it didn't stop. I did like 30 days, 60 days. I did 6 months one time. And it's like, this is all in a matter of like from 22 to 27, right? Like I got so sick and tired. Like I can remember this is like one of those moments of clarity for me. And I didn't realize it at the time, right? You know, because like having a 5-year-old and having a 2-year-old, I was just like, I don't want the responsibility anymore. I don't want to be a mom anymore. Like it's in the way. Like I didn't want to feed them. I didn't want to bathe them. I didn't want to, take care of them anymore. So like I called both their dads and I was like, hey, like I need a break. Can I drop them off for a couple weeks? And then I will come back and get them.
Don't share, babe.
Well, I dropped my son off and I was sick. I was on my way to go cop and I had to take him all the way out to Pendleton in Henry County. And I remember like this little voice in my head was like, don't drive away too fast because this is going to be the last time you ever see your son. And to this day, it's been 10 years since I seen my son.
You helping somebody right now.
I know like it had to be how it had to be, right? And then like my daughter, I took her to my grandparents and I never went back and got her either, So like I knew like she was in a good spot. I could go see her whenever I wanted, but then it was like when I finally decided to like, hey, I want to be a mom again, like let me go pick him up. His dad wouldn't even answer the fucking phone. And like at the, like now I don't blame him. But at the time it was like, fuck you. Like, fuck you for keeping my son. But I'm the one that dropped him off. Like, I can see things differently now. Finally, like I started selling the other shit so I could get what I wanted, kind of tit for tat kind of deal. And I was staying in Frankfurt. I sold to this well-known CI in Frankfurt that I didn't know because obviously I'm not from there. And this girl, she's like, hey, can you sell me something? I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. Well, she comes to the room that I'm staying in and I got all the shit out and I'm weighing it up. I'm about to bag it up and somebody knocks on my fucking door and it's the fucking sheriff.
Oh, wow.
You going to jail.
And I already had a warrant. I never reported to probation and parole. Like I just kind of kept going. And, like when she opened that door, like I knew like something had changed in me because like I was tired. So like when she opened that door and I was like, well, I guess I'm ready to go. And I put my hands up and he cuffed me and I just sat outside the hotel room door while he went through all the shit and got, weighed it and whatever so he could get the charges right or whatever. And I ended up going to Franklin County Jail and I was locked up for like 14 months. I had charges in 2 other counties other than Franklin County, like Shelby and Carroll County had me. And so like I got all of them on board for drug court. Shelby County was like my last one. Like my cases were closed in Carroll and Franklin, and then Shelby County was my last one. And I go to court that day, and Judge Hickman looks at me, and I'm thinking like my attorney's like, "You're gonna get drug court. You got both counties. You're gonna get drug court." And Judge Hickman looks at me and was like, "You're gonna serve your time in the Department of Corrections." And I had like done racked up like 16 years. Like I was on my way to Pee Wee, and I was on my way to go sit down for a good little minute. And like he stops me as I'm on my way out and he was like, but apply for shock and then we'll talk about drug court.
Throw that little twist in there.
Yeah. He said, apply for shock and we'll talk about drug court. So I waited the 90 days. Anybody who knows it's like 30, 60, 90 days, like you can apply for shock. And so I waited the 90 days. I was like, I'm going to do this one and done. If I get it, I get it. If not, then I'm already comfortable. I'm going to stay where I'm at and I'm just going to do my time and go up for parole after 4.5 years, And so I applied for shock at 90 days and like I got shocked out to drug court. And that's kind of like where I started my recovery journey, like because I grew up and I didn't know anything about any anonymous programs except for one. And like for me, it was too substance specific and I was like, I'm not going there. So I don't know. And then I just, I got drug court and I was staying in Frankfurt at the time and I got into it with this lady who ran the house at this sober living I was at.
Oh,
And
wow.
she looked at me and she said, you ain't never going to be shit. You're not going to get nowhere in fucking life because you can't get your shit together. And I was like, fuck you, bitch. And I like walked out of the house. I'm like, you don't fucking know me, like legend in my own mind type shit. I left and came back to Shelbyville and I relapsed a few times because, I was nervous coming back to my hometown. I was like, I know all the spots. I know where to get high. I know the people. Like, let me run into somebody, whatever. And I relapsed when I came back to town. I had 89 days when I relapsed. It was the worst time, because like at this point I was already in drug court. So when I relapsed, I was so excited to go to jail because at that point in time, drug court was intense. Like you fuck up anything, you're going to jail.
Oh, that's a wrap.
So I had to go do this 5-day sanction. And I was so excited to go to jail because I was like, it's the first time I've ever had an out date. Every other time was like, no bond, you ain't getting out, like whatever. So like I go and I do this 5 days, and it was the worst 5 days of my life. You know, like I'd been desperate before, but like, and they talk about in the rooms, like that gift of desperation. Like I had finally, like it was finally a gift of desperation. Like I was ready to do something different.
Yeah, you hit your bottom.
Yeah. You know, like, I don't know if it was like the little taste of freedom I had in that 89 days, or if it was just like, you know, like I was really like sick and tired of my own shit where I wanted to do something different.
You got tired of digging. That's where bottom's at.
Yeah, I did. I got tired of digging. I kept, you know, I was just over it. I was like, I can't fucking do this anymore.
Yeah, so in recovery, you know, they tell us about being in the solution of the problem. I just wanted to get your guys' take on, you know, because there's addicts all across the world that's about to go cop again, you know, and you know, y'all know where we've been at, to where it's like we don't want to. We literally, genuinely do not want to get high again. And for the opiate users, it becomes a physical need. At first, it may be, well, I'm not going to say opiate use is recreational.
No, it's
You know,
not.
No, nobody does a little
So-
bit of heroin.
yeah. So the opiates, you know, it was a mental thing, to where the first time, like how you were sharing, I got that warm feeling all over my body. It instantly took away all of the pain that I had. But that slowly led into me physically needing the drug. So what are some of the tools that help you guys out today, that keep you guys on the straight and narrow and keep you guys just staying clean one day at a time? Because there's a lot of people, man, that you know that may need to hear something like that. What are some of the tools that y'all use?
You know, you brought up, you know, using heroin. Like the best description that I've found, like as like, you know, like it's raining, it's pouring down rain, and like you're driving down the interstate and you go under a bridge in like 2.5 seconds, it's quiet. Like for me, that's what heroin felt like. You know, like it stopped the thoughts. It made me like calm or whatever. And, you know, like as far as like tools and like kind of like what keeps me clean, in the beginning, it was consequences, you know, because I didn't want to do this. I had a whole plan, you know, like I've shared about it several times. Like my whole plan was to just do what I had to do for drug court, and I was getting high. But by the time I was about to graduate drug court, like I was scared, you know, because like I built this life and I didn't want to lose this life, you know, like I built a life that I didn't have to fucking run from anymore. And that's what I was doing the whole time. I utilized my sponsor. I take suggestions. I listen to the old timers, you know, like I talk about my problems, you know, and like I've learned like surrendering is not a weakness anymore. Like it's a strength, you know, and I talk about how I feel, as cheesy as that sounds, like, and I'll repeat it and repeat it and repeat it until I hear something that is going to help me and get me like where I need to be. And like I pray, and, you know, I finally have a spiritual relationship with the God of my understanding. And that's kind of been like what's got me through and how I get out of the problem.
I mean, talking about the tools we got in our toolbox today, you talking to addicts with 7 and 6 years clean, but you asking me to put myself back in that first day when I came in the room
Absolutely.
Right.
crying.
Early in
I couldn't look
sobriety,
nobody in the eyes, because I had some clean time, went back out, had some clean time, went back out, like 2 or 3 months here and there. But when I finally came back, that guilt, shame, and remorse had me so eat up. I was over there looking at the linoleum on the floor. I think that's what it's called. They was tiled.
Yeah,
They had
something.
specks on. I'm
Yeah.
counting the specks on the floor. I can't look nobody in the eye, man. Because what I didn't understand is that while relapse isn't a requirement, it does happen. Anytime you relapse, don't think you're going to come in and people going to look down on you. Bus drivers drive buses. Pilots fly planes. Addicts shoot, smoke, snort, and drink dope, because alcohol is a drug. We drink it. And coming in there, that's about the only place people are going to understand that. I can't go to work and talk to HR, tell them I feel like sticking a needle in my arm and going nuts for 4 days. They're going to look at you funny, and you might not have your job. You're lucky if you keep. You can't go to the church and tell the pastor that, because he has no way to relate to it. What helped me, not only early on, but even now, is the fellowship
Yeah,
of
of
absolutely.
Narcotics Anonymous. I wouldn't be where I'm at without y'all.
that therapeutic value.
And no matter if I like an addict or not, especially if I don't like them, I listen when they share, because when my ass is on fire, I don't care where the water come from. My dad got in a halfway house after he got out of a rehab, and he was staying at a halfway house in Louisville. And my dad, this might catch you off guard, is an old white dude.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew that about me. And he's down there at a halfway house in Louisville and downtown, so I don't need to tell you the kind of people he was in there staying with. There's a bunch of black dudes, crazy from the street, yada, yada. And I asked him, how's it going down there? How are your meetings going, right? And it's just a bunch of old black dudes telling stories that couldn't be true and going on this big spiel. My dad, he's almost 60 years old. He's only a 60-year-old I know that texts, and he'll send you books.
Yeah.
I'm not reading that shit. Call me. You got the same sponsor I do. What happens if you text that motherfucker? Not nothing.
He ain't
nothing
gonna respond.
You might as well
yeah.
talk these books over here.
You're
nothing.
on red.
Yeah.
But so I read he was worried about the black dudes at the meeting, so I hit him back and I said, dude, if we standing on the street about the cop and there's a drive-by and you get shot in the ass, when we get to the hospital, are you gonna ask what color is the doctor? Or are you gonna say get the bullet out my ass?
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
So the fellowship, I gotta come in there, I gotta be. It's kind of like what Whitney was getting to about that decision she made. We all have to make that decision, but we've all made that decision thousands of times. The decision is nothing without the commitment to make it work. Because I can make the decision when I'm hurting, but when I'm not dope sick no more and that pink cloud has subsided, I can go back to being me, doing what's regular, doing what's comfortable. And if I'm comfortable, I'm not growing. If I'm not growing, it's real dangerous. It's real dangerous. If I'm comfortable and I'm not growing and I'm isolating, I'm by myself, when I'm alone, I'm with the last person who tried to kill me.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I'm alone, I'm in bad company.
Real talk, man. Yeah.
Yeah, but the fellowship is important though. Like I didn't think
It
about
is.
that, but in the beginning it was like the people that I needed, like I've always felt, apart from. So like when I come in there and these people are like, "Let me love you back to life," and hugs, not
Get away.
drugs, and
Yeah.
all that. I'm
and you
just
don't
like,
want to hear all that shit at
yeah,
first.
like don't touch me. I don't want your coffee. Like, are you sure you're not on dope?
Yeah.
Like, but
Bruh, Steve gave me a hug and I thought he was a pervert.
He didn't mean that, Steve, if you ever listen to this.
No, it ain't even about that. It's just I'm 27 years old. Ain't no dude ever hugged me like that.
Yeah.
Steve actually gave me a hug and talked to me for a second. But it's also, I don't know if you've ever heard the analogy of the difference between being committed and being involved, right?
Yeah, like the
If
chicken
you want to
and
know the
egg.
difference between commitment and involvement, look at your breakfast plate. You got the chicken and you got the bacon. The chicken was involved. He laid the egg and kept going. The pig was fucking committed. That's his hide you eating. So what makes me think I could be a pig out here in active addiction and then get clean, come in recovery, and I'm a chicken in there? I just come by sometimes, yada, yada. And the way you go from being involved to being committed, pick up some service, chair a meet,
Yeah.
get there early. Even if you ain't chairing, come in and make the coffee. Be there, open the door, and let God do the rest.
Yeah, I got to commend y'all on that too, man. Because when you thinking about, you got recovery everywhere, but if you think about like recovery in Shelbyville and the younger generation, I got to think about y'all because y'all really active. And I know you've been sharing on it here
Oh, yeah.
recently. It's starting to get overwhelming, you know what I mean? And
Mhm.
It's gonna
You
take
know,
another turn, though. We about
yeah. So yeah, man, it takes shit like that. Like if you want to really grow in this thing, it really takes action. You know what I mean?
This is an action program.
And I ain't gonna sit here and say like I ain't working no perfect program by no means, but they preach to me progress and not perfection too.
Absolutely.
So as long as I don't put one in me, I can grow on the rest of that shit. You
Right.
know what I mean? But once I put one in me, all bets is off. And y'all might not see me again, especially what's going on right now with the fentanyl and shit like that.
Yeah.
You know, if either one of us go back out, we ain't promised to come back.
No,
you know what I'm
absolutely
saying?
not.
You remember what Cameron said and Paid in Full?
What?
People die every day, B.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like,
especially real talk.
yeah, one of our predecessors all the time says we carry the message one or two ways, either 6 feet under or standing above ground. And I'd rather be on this side and tell them like, hey, there's hope after dope.
There is hope, man.
There really is.
Two mistakes
Yeah.
you can make in recovery. One is to pick up, and the second one is not to come back.
Yeah.
Anything else is a learning experience.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, that last time when I relapsed, I had two voices on my shoulder. I had the voice of the enemy. I'm just going to say the enemy, like, wanted me to keep going left and wanted me to keep using. And then I had God on my right shoulder, my higher power, who I choose to call God, on my right side, just saying, fuck it, just go back to the meeting, just make that first meeting.
Yeah,
You know
absolutely.
what I'm saying? And then after that, it's just you doing the next right thing. And then you got days, and the next thing you know, you stacking days up. You know what I mean? But don't get it fucked up, though, because we still just one snap away from using again.
Yeah, I'm closer
we
to my
don't-
next use than I am my last, last one.
That's exactly right.
That's
I'm,
real,
I'm
but
closer to using again than I am from getting away.
So what you were sharing on about that therapeutic value when we first coming into the meetings, that kept me clean too. I always try to explain to my family why it was I kept getting high, but they never could relate. They never could understand. They wanted to just say, just fucking stop. And it's not that easy. You know what I mean?
It's a disease, man. I'm not a bad person. I've got a spiritual disease. It's not a moral deficiency.
And a
that
lot of
that we
people's
suffer
confused
from.
on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at this piece of shit. He's over there shooting dope again.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and you brought up, when you asked the question, you brought up like everything in you doesn't want to use, but like they don't understand, like sometimes like you lost your will to stop. Like, I can remember one time trying to get clean on my own because it wasn't the getting clean. It was the stay and stop that was hard for me.
Yeah.
You know, I can remember trying to do it on my own and like detoxing, and I always make it to day 3. Day 3 before I'm like, fuck it. You know, and I'm like, I don't want to do this, but I also did not want to feel how I felt anymore. So I'd put one in me. And then I'd be off and running again. And then, you know, like the guilt, shame, and remorse and the not knowing why I couldn't stop. Not knowing like I had no, like, it wasn't my body at that time. It wasn't. I had no control. I had to do it.
So when we in the madness, as we like to call it, we get into a cycle of insanity.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Same thing.
Talk
Expecting
about
another
that.
result.
Talk about that insanity piece.
Well, I mean, for me, it was just thinking that I was going to be able to control it, you know, like thinking like, oh, I've been clean 3 days. I'm not going to use as much as I did, you know, but like in that for me, I can remember one day, I've shared about this too. Like I went and I copped. I went and ended up fucking my dope dealer, and I ended up copping. And I can remember I was going to meet my friends at Dairy Queen here in town, and they was walking over to the dollar store, and I was like, you know, I was like, I'm going to go to the bathroom, you know, because I just copped and I was sick, and I was like, oh, I need to do one. And I can remember going in there and telling myself, like, don't do too much, you know, like I can always do more if I don't feel it, you know, because I had never bought from him. I had never, you know, had his shit. So, and like, this is when like fentanyl and that shit was like just coming out, you know, like it wasn't just H anymore. And I did it, and I ended up overdosing in the dollar store bathroom. I went in there at 5 o'clock. I didn't wake up till 11 o'clock that night. I had to run out the back door.
Yeah, the store was, go ahead.
The store was closed. The alarm was set. And like, you know, when I woke up and came to, yeah, it was scary. And like, you know, I had the motion sensor light. So like when I woke up, I'm like in this room and, you know, like I'm in my mind. Yeah, I'm in my mind and I'm like, oh my God, am I in limbo? Like, where the fuck am I at? Well, I moved and the light came on. And then I realized where I was at. And like, I literally had to drag myself to the damn sink and put water on my face to kind of come to, because like I was out of it. And then I finally mustered up enough energy to like run out the back door. For me, like that was the insanity, because, you know, the next day I ended up doing the same dope that almost killed me the night before. And didn't think twice about it. Like, oh, this happens.
Yeah,
it's fine. I made it out. Yeah.
That's what we want. We want this, you know, when we, like what I was just talking about, the insanity part, we trying to get the dope that
it's killing
a
people.
motherfucker just
come
died
back
on.
quick, motherfucker OD.
Yeah.
And, hey, real quick, not to make light of your story, but I think it's okay. Does that not sound like the punchline to a Jeff Foxworthy joke?
Yeah.
If you've ever had a break out of a Dollar General, you might be a redneck.
Wow.
Well, you know, it is what it is.
I'm sorry. I had to get that off.
Fine.
It was
it's fine.
obsessive.
But yeah, I ended up, it was scary. And then I did the same shit, you know? So like that for me is like when I kind of maybe thought like it wasn't for fun anymore. It was like, it was serious. Like, especially when I'm doing the same dope that almost killed me. And it's like, even in that point, it was like, I knew something, you know, hindsight, you know, now I know it was God, but like hindsight, like what's my purpose, you know, because I was by myself and they didn't even check on me. They didn't even realize like the key was gone. You know, I was in there for what, 5 to 11. I was in there 6 hours by myself, dead on the floor.
Well, I'll tell you this. If I'm working at the dollar store and I give a girl a key and I go in there and she's passed out on the floor, I'm clocking out and going home. I'm not fucking with that.
Well, and, you know,
A crew can handle that when they get in the morning.
You know, this dollar
Yeah,
store,
I'ma
it's
leave
like
that
real
for the next
sketchy.
shift.
Yeah, it's real sketchy. It's got like this little hallway with this little nook, and then the bathrooms is right there. Like it's like in the corner. Like you ain't worried about nothing back there for real. It's just got the little clearance section.
But to speak to the insanity, like you was asking us, I mean, we all did kind of the same dope. We're all overdose survivors. Am I wrong?
No,
Oh, you're not.
Did you overdose one time or more than once?
more than once.
I can get into plenty of
Right. But
Yeah.
the point I'm
Plenty of
getting at here
stories.
is what makes it an overdose is your heart stopped beating. You died.
Yeah,
That's what
you have no
signifies it as an
vitals.
overdose.
Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
no vitals when they come onto the scene.
Yeah. So you speaking to the insanity, bro, I got to the point I had scar tissue on my left arm. But I left the hospital, like I signed myself out OR, and I left that shit in there. You know where they pump you up to the IV with the insulin?
Yeah.
Went straight to the dope man house.
Yeah.
Because I knew I could hit a vein, and I wanted to see if it was a better hit.
Well, you had fluid in there. Yeah, so it would definitely be a better hit.
But that's insane.
Yeah.
Is the point that I'm making. And to keep getting, and every time I said, that's it. I'm never doing it again. Yada, yada. Ooh, next day, here we go.
Yeah. And that's what's scary about it too. You know, because like when you're in it and you're doing it, like you just don't think about anything else other than that. So like sitting here now thinking about it, it was like, what the fuck was I thinking? What was I doing with my life?
Do you remember the thought process when you ran out and you was dope sick? Like, what the fuck am I without the dope? You remember
Yeah.
thinking that?
Yeah.
What am I gonna do?
I
Yeah.
remember thinking that with the dope.
Yeah.
And when I was
Right.
high, you know.
One more.
And like the crack and the coke, yada yada. 5 minutes after you do it, it's
You're
done.
doing it again.
But with the H and with the ice, you stayed high for a little while, but we were still chasing it while we was on it.
Mhm.
Right. To make sure we didn't run out.
Crazy
so
shit, man.
Yeah.
The thing is with this thing, man, is well, even like right now I'm coming up on 2 years clean.
Yes,
So
friend.
I haven't
Love that.
so that's removed from my last relapse was on cocaine. So I haven't shot heroin in about 4 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Or 3 to 4 years now. So man, the shit that they got, it just blows my mind with the shit right now, man. Like
Scared to death.
I don't understand how motherfuckers is out there really shooting it like how I was shooting dope and not dying.
You damn near got to buy 2 bags and test one.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
real.
That's the only way to be safe about it. But we ain't doing that when we getting high. Fuck it. If I die, I die. Because honestly, it got to the point with me, like when I started shooting, it was a suicidal act.
Yeah, like I was
Right.
ready.
Like I would come back from the fucking relapse after they hit me with the Narcan mad. Like, dog, just let me go.
Man, my mom told me one time, she said, son, I think you getting to the point where I think you suicidal. And I said, I had to sit back and think about that. And she said, every time you go to do it, you playing Russian roulette.
Yeah.
So you are suicidal because you continue to do the same thing. And she was right, though. After I sat back and I thought about that, she was right, because I just got to a point to where when you in the madness, and especially with being addicted to opiates, the mental and the physical becomes so overly bearing and so powerful to where it's like you literally have no more fight left. And what they said, I ain't gonna get into details about NA and stuff like that out of anonymity, but what they say in the meetings, we had come to the road. What was there left to do? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Either with or without the drugs. You know, we all face the same dilemma. And that's what they talking about right there is without the dope or with the dope.
Yeah.
I was miserable, man. And
Absolutely.
I had to, with the title of this project, Dopenly Honest, I had to get honest with myself first and foremost before I can make a change, man. You know what I mean?
And that was the hardest piece for me, though. It's like I can lie to everybody but myself, you know, and I tell everybody I don't have a problem. I like getting high. I love getting high, you know, but like you just said, you know, with or without the drugs, like I was ready, you know, because I told myself that lie, like, oh, I lost my kids and I got nothing left to live for. I lost my family. I'm in and out of jail. Like they'd be better off without me. You know, that's real.
But that's some next level shit. And just something I wanted to point that I wanted to while you was talking, but I didn't want to interrupt you. Like, what brought you to the realization that you didn't lose your kids, you gave them up,
I did.
was step work.
Mm-hmm.
That's step work right there. She talked through that with another recovering addict that she trusted. She wrote it down on paper, pen and paper. Ain't nothing, and that's what step work does to you, man. It'll change your perspective on everything. This shit don't work without the steps. There's only one way up.
Right. If there's one thing that y'all could tell the person that's out there that's about to go cop again, they out there, they lost, man. They where we used to be at. What would you tell them?
They out there about to cop. They out there lost, out there where we was at. I tell them somebody loves you whether you do or not. Whether you love yourself or not, somebody out here loves you.
Yeah, real talk, man.
I don't know. I'd tell them, you know, like we're praying for you. Every time we take that moment of silence at the end of a meeting or at the very beginning of the meeting, we're praying for you. You know, like, and come sit with us for a little bit. You know, like, come give yourself a break. You know, it's not the end all be all, and it's not like it doesn't have to be like this.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
You know, but you can't
say that.
Yeah, but you can't say that, you know, like when, you know, nobody could have told me that. But it don't have to be like this no more. You know, like it's
And that's why we gotta keep doing what we doing. Like on the other side in recovery, like we gotta keep leading by example, man. So I would tell that person, I would just tell them like we didn't get addicted at one time, you know, so you just got to keep going, man. And you just got to realize that it's not the end of the world if you fuck up. But it can literally be the end of the world for you if you keep going. Because life ain't promised at all. But when you playing with the dope out there right now, life definitely not promised. So I would tell you, man, get you a sponsor. Take this thing serious, man, because it's a matter of life and death. and find a meeting. That's where the hope is. That's where we are. That's where that therapy comes in, that everybody in the room is just like you, and you ain't gonna know how to vent and get that shit out unless you are around other people that's like you.
Yeah. You know, I can remember coming into the rooms and there was this girl, every meeting, she'd be like, my name is so-and-so, I want to get high. My name is so-and-so, I'm an addict, I want to get high. Every meeting.
She was being dead serious.
And she had like 2 years clean. And I was just like, I want to get high. Because, you know, I'm coming in there up like 3 or 4 days. I want to get high.
Yeah.
Like, those are my people. You know? And
But
like
that's real, because they some days with 6 years clean, I think about it.
Yeah.
It's still coming around. Don't think just because you've been clean a while, getting high don't sound like fun. It does, but it ain't worth it.
Yeah, you know, me and Kody, you know, just a couple weeks ago, I was telling him, I was like, you know, I was thinking about it. I was like, a nice fucking glass of wine after a hard day of work sounds so good.
A little blizzy on the back porch right now. Let's
or
go
just
get
smoking a
Vegas.
blunt. I was like, but that's just not realistic for me.
But see, it took us some time to understand that, though.
Oh, it wasn't like that 5 years ago. That wasn't something I'd have thought it, but I wouldn't have said that.
I wouldn't have
That's
shared
some
it.
scary
You know what
shit
I'm
to
saying?
share.
But
You know
like,
what I'm saying?
yeah, today it's like, you know, like I just know, like if I smoke or I take a drink of wine, like I'm
Play
gonna end
that
up with a
tape.
needle in my arm by the end of the night, and I'm off and running.
Play
Because
that
I
tape
was like,
out.
fuck it, I already did what I didn't really want to
Yeah.
do, so I'm gonna get what I want.
Oh, let me share something with y'all. So
Yeah, go ahead.
where I work at a factory, graveyard, whatever. There's a lot of Cubans out there right now, and they got the strongest coffee in the world. It's good coffee, but it's
Damn,
like
I want
you know,
some, man.
have you ever
Some
heard of it?
Cuban
Have you ever
coffee.
heard of Cuban
Nah,
coffee?
they need to put them in the meetings, though.
Yeah,
swear.
They need
it's
some of
thick,
that.
bro. You damn near got to slice it off. But they got this new girl in the back, and they know I like the coffee, so they'll call me up there. I'll take a shot of the coffee, whatever. I go up there, and she's pumped, like oddly pumped to give me his coffee, right? And I know she wants me a little bit, but I just play that off. I wanted the coffee. Maybe it's
shut up.
manipulation. Maybe it's people skills. I don't know. But I go up there and take a drink of her coffee. Vodka in that motherfucker.
Oh shit.
You fucking bitch. And I can't get mad at her. She didn't know no better. I probably should have smelt it, but it was so hot, I just went to hit it. I just took a little sip, so I don't count that as a relapse or nothing.
No, you
But-
didn't
and
know.
I can't get mad, right? I prayed about it. I didn't talk to nobody, but I prayed about it, and she don't know no better. She don't know that if I take a shot and get drunk in here with you tonight, I'm going to have a needle in my arm and rob you on Tuesday.
Well, what'd you learn though? Like, don't be taking drinks from strangers.
You just mad because it was a female.
I am.
If it was a dude, you wouldn't have said
Right.
nothing.
Don't be taking drinks from strangers.
And dude, first time when I first got clean, I went to church with my uncle and them. They was doing communion, and these sunbucks use actual wine. I came to the meeting that night crying. I thought I'd done relapse because I took communion at the church. You wasn't getting drunk. That was Jesus, son.
Well, man, I just want to thank y'all for coming on the project, man. And, you know, it means a lot to me. And like I said before, y'all was the first person that came up when I was thinking about who I wanted to interview next. Y'all's story is powerful and amazing, and people needed to hear it, man. And I just hope that somebody heard some stuff today that we was talking about that can potentially help them in their journey, man. And I just want the addicts out there to know, you know, that we just like you. We just on the other side now, so
Yeah, come
we
home.
yeah.
We ain't trying to open the doors to heaven to let you in. We trying to show you how to kick down the gates of hell so you can get out.
Absolutely.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Dopenly Honest. I know all too well that recovery is an uphill battle, but there is hope. For resources, find your local NA, AA, or CR meeting. I can't stress enough how crucial meetings are to my personal recovery. If you enjoyed this content, please like, share, and meet us back right here for more episodes of Dopenly Honest. And remember, you are not alone. One day at a time, we do recover.